The news world is remembering one of the most powerful and controversial figures in modern American politics, former Vice President Dick Cheney. Cheney, who served under President George W. Bush from 2001 to 2009, has died at the age of 84. His passing marks the end of an era that began with the September 11 attacks and shaped U.S. policy for decades. When America was struck on September 11, 2001, the nation was in shock. At that moment, Dick Cheney stepped into action calm, determined, and utterly convinced that the United States must respond with full force. Behind closed doors, he helped design what became known as the War on Terror, a global campaign against terrorism that would change the world forever. Cheney was not just a vice president. He was a strategist, a shadow power, a man who believed that security should come before everything else. He argued that if there was even a 1% chance of a terror threat, America should act as if it were certain. This idea became known as the 1% doctrine. It was the philosophy that guided everything from the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq to the expansion of surveillance and intelligence programs across the globe. Under Cheney's influence, the Bush administration launched the invasion of Afghanistan in October 2001 to destroy al-Qaeda and remove the Taliban from power. Years later, the administration turned its focus to Iraq, claiming Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction and links to terrorism. Claims turned out to be false, but by then, the war was already underway. The U.S. invasion toppled Saddam Hussein, but it also plunged Iraq into chaos and instability that lasted for years. Cheney defended those decisions throughout his life. He insisted that removing Saddam Hussein made the world safer, even as critics accused him of misleading the public and pushing America into a needless conflict. For Cheney, the Iraq War was about showing strength, a warning to America's enemies that the U.S. would strike first rather than wait to be attacked again. But at home, Cheney's policies sparked deep divisions. He was the driving force behind the Patriot Act, which expanded government surveillance powers. He supported secret prisons run by the CIA, and approved the use of what were called enhanced interrogation techniques, harsh methods many later described as torture. For his supporters, these actions were tough but necessary to keep Americans safe. For his critics, they represented a betrayal of the country's values and constitution. Dick Cheney was a man who believed that safety required strength, and strength required power. To some, he was the defender of America. To others, he was the man who redefined it. His story remains a reminder of how one man's vision can reshape a nation and the world.